Hey, 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 Chica. Welcome to the Lovelda Show Women of Power podcast, the show where women share their personal power tools, the techniques, strategies, and ways of being which have enabled their business and life success. I'm your host, Lovelda Vincenzi, a female speaker, mentor, speaker, and event host on a mission to unleash authentic, powerful female voices onto the world. In today's episode, we'll uncover the power tools of Rosemay Lucotte. Rosemay is the co-founder of the Change Now Summit, the largest positive impact conference in the world. Graduated from the French business school EM Lyon, Rosemay began her career in health marketing. After 8 years, she left her position in a multinational company to embark on an entrepreneurial adventure and organized the first Change Now Summit in September 2017. Her mission is to put social and environmental innovation at the forefront to accelerate the solutions and respond to major emergencies of our century. For its third edition in January 2020, the Change Now Summit gathered 1,000 innovations for the planet and 28,000 participants coming from all around the world in the emblematic venue of the Grand Palais in Paris. Rosemay Lucotte is also the co-founder of the Startup Career Day, a job fair dedicated to the recruitment in startups, and she is the mother of two. This incredible woman is a big-thinking, purpose-focused action taker who has achieved incredible things. In this episode, she shares the journey behind creating the world's largest positive impact conference in just 3 years and the secrets of what enabled her to do just that. Remember, all of the links shared in this show can be found in the show notes. The only way to ensure that you get your regular fix of the show is to click that subscribe button to make sure that you get updates as soon as a new show is added. Well, that is quite enough from me for now. Let us get on with the show. Hey ladies, welcome back to the Lovelda Show Women of Power podcast. OMG, today's guest. All right. Now, you heard about it in the intro, but I think I'm going to need to re-drop it. So this lady has done let me just put it this way. I have never known somebody to go from zero conference and then 3 years later, 28,000 people as guests, 28,000 people. When I say wowzers, I'm just blown away. So I could not, I know that's a double negative, but basically it would have been wrong of me to do this show and not invite Rosemay Lucotte to the show. Did I say it right?
Yes, perfect.
Yay! See, French names. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Lovelda.
It's so wonderful to have you here. So for guests listening, Rose and I met because she is co-founder of the Change Now Summit, and I happen to be one of their MCs. Yes, just a little plug on me right there. Anyhows, so I get there, and there's 3 people who've come up with this idea. I thought it was, the conference is based in Paris. It's an incredible conference. If you are into global change, global impact, looking after the planet, anything like that, you need to get there. It happens once a year. But literally in the first year, I think it was 5,000, 10,000 guests, something like that you had in year one. It was silly.
Wow, the first year was even 2,000 people.
Was it? It felt like more.
Yeah, because the place was much smaller. but yeah,
to start from zero, an idea to, and you had some great names as well, because I remember people I was introducing. You had government officials, you had very senior names within the sector.
Yeah, the programmation since the first year was really good, but then people had to discover it.
It was incredible. So how did you guys come up with the idea? Because it's you, your husband, and one of your friends who kind of came together as a trio to create this conference. Where did the idea come from?
Well, so the idea came from, I think it all started in 2015.
Okay.
When we had the COP21 in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a lot about the global warming and how we can find solutions, how can what we can do for the planet. But we mostly talked about governmental actions or about citizen actions.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk we didn't talk at all about the entrepreneurs and all the companies who can actually really address those issues. And at the same time, in 2015, we started hearing about some very ambitious entrepreneurs who put their ambition not for the sake of profits, but for the sake of the planet. And for instance, you had Boyan Slat, this young
incredible man.
Yes, incredible man, and we welcomed him at Change Now this year. We were super happy to have him. But yeah, in 2015, for the first time, we had this kind of entrepreneurial spirit of people who wanted to save the planet. And so Boyan Slat, for instance, had this project of how we can clean the ocean with the ocean cleanup project.
It's really small. Let's not start with the river. Let's clean the oceans, like 70% of the planet.
Yes, exactly. So that was super ambitious. So we had this, and this was new. It was not just like doing good things in your neighborhood, which is really good already. But we had this kind of a scale vision of scale for entrepreneurial projects. And at the same time, in France, we also had a movie that was talking about solutions. And for the first time, and it was a huge success in France. For the first time, the idea was, okay, we know the problems. Now let's do not a movie about the problems, but let's do a movie about the solutions. And all together, this resonated. And we said, okay, we need to help all those businesses, all those entrepreneurs who want to take action at scale. And what they need right now is to get visibility, to get visible, and to get connected with the right people who can help them scale. And if you look at all ecosystems, usually, well, all the time, you have events, big events. They play a key role for the industry. For instance, in the tech ecosystem, you have the CES in Las Vegas. And when you're an entrepreneur in tech, if you go there, you'll find a lot of investors, you'll find great partners, you'll have orders for the next 6 months or for the year. Yeah, it's super important. It boosts your activity. And so the idea was, well, this doesn't exist for impact entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs who act for the planet. So let's create it. And that was the idea.
Okay, but why did you start so big? Like, I remember walking into the first one and I was like, this is their first edition. Like, you guys did not decide to, let's do like a little test pilot one and then we'll take it from there. You just, I mean, to me, it felt like you took the whole thing and went with it. I know to your husband, it was a small part of a big vision, but you didn't start from a small micro place. You threw a lot in it in year one.
Yeah, well, the thing is, so first we are talking about issues that are urgent. So we don't have 10 years to grow an event from a small one. So if we want to act fast, we have to grow fast. So, and when you're talking about an event, there is a minimum scale you need if you want to attract the right people. If you're too small, it will take years, or it won't grow the right way. Plus, we are talking about global issues, and so from the beginning we had to be international. That was a big challenge for the year one, to say, okay, we can't, if we have the ambition to help those entrepreneurs scale their projects, we need to attract qualitative people, enough people in terms of quantity and quality. Mm-hmm. So that was a challenge, but it was, I think, important to make it useful.
I love that you guys just got very, very clear up front. It's important, it's now, and in order to be effective, it has to be global. And you didn't shy away from that in any way. I mean, I remember you were flying people in from all over the world as your speakers. There were guests who were coming in globally as well. So it wasn't just speakers, it was also guests. So you really did think beyond, this is something in France. Like you really were thinking this is a global event, and did everything that you could to make sure that those two were aligned, and didn't play it down and didn't shy away from it, which I just thought was so commendable, because I know a lot of people with very, very big dreams, and then they get to that moment and it's like, oh, okay, we'll just, maybe next year we'll do the big version. This year, let's just scale it back a bit. How do you think it works? Because in the core team, in terms of the founders, you're the only female founder of the three. What do you think you brought that the guys just couldn't see?
I don't know. First, I think that being a couple is really an asset, because we had to create everything from scratch in a very short period of time, and we could communicate a lot, probably much more than with a classic associate partner. I mean, we could, we
know each other that much better. It's kind of like, you get me, but
yes.
I'll say half the sentence, you finish it, you know what I mean. I'm not speaking French, English, it's some gibberish right now because I'm so stressed, but you know what I mean. You can kind of fast forward some of that communication.
Yeah, exactly. You have much more time to communicate, and you know each other. We've known each other we had known each other for the past 12 years. So we know how to work together. So I think that was a key factor of success for us, and it would have been much more difficult without this knowledge, personal knowledge. Then as a I think I don't know if it's as a woman, actually. I don't really like to say like women are like this, men are like that. In our team, there are some womanish.
Womanish.
I don't know if you say that, but female attributes actually that are very well developed in some of my men partners. So I don't want to, like, it's not the hard skills on one side, the soft skills on the other one, on the other hand. But I think we really cooperate a lot. We listen to each other a lot, and that's the complementarity, and probably like having men and women helps you a lot to have this complementarity.
So I think there's something you said there that I think was really important, and it was that you communicated a lot. And I think, what I'm hearing is fundamentally provided as business partners, whether it's relationship or associate or whatever, provided you can communicate effectively, and that's the foundation you're building from, the rest of it's a lot easier. It's like easier to achieve really big goals quickly when you can work out how to talk to each other.
Yeah, it's essential to have this communication, to have trust, and to share the same vision. We had the same dream. That was a crazy dream, but I think the crazier, then the better, the more you put energy into it. We shared these three things.
I think the other thing the three of you share is you're all that. All of you just think that big. I think, sometimes you can get different personality types where somebody's like, no, let's just calm down. Maybe let's slow it down a little bit. But all three of you are the sort of people who's like, how big can we make this? Yeah. What else could we add? it doesn't matter if Lovelda's about to go on stage. What else can we add? What new idea can we put in? And I think sometimes it's probably just one of those things for women to remember, that ambition, that drive, that desire to take it that big bit further, to go bigger, is really important. And I think sometimes we can forget it, or we can allow the opinions of others to close that down. And I think it's really beautiful that you're in this space with your business partners, that actually all of you are always opening each other up to bigger possibilities.
Yeah. Actually, it brings so much motivation. And so just to give you an idea, for the first year, we said we have to do this big event, and we said, where could we do it? And we heard about this place that was about to open in Paris called Station F. It was about to open as the largest, as world's largest startup campus, where they could host 1,000 startups. And we said, okay, let's do it there. That was completely crazy, but then we did, we put a lot of positive energy and a lot of motivation to get in the place. And if we had a more classical place in mind, we would not have put so much energy and motivation.
Yeah.
So for the first year, it was that. The second year, we said, okay, now this year we have to be the largest positive conference in the world. That was crazy.
Not in the country. Let's just be the largest one in the world.
In the world. Okay, so we benchmarked, because there was very few conferences such as this one.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we have it's feasible, but it's big challenge still, but we can do it. And so this gave us a lot of motivation for the year 2. And then for year 3, we said, okay, we had this opportunity to meet the Grand Palais in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, for the last 3 years, we contacted them, but they didn't answer. But at the beginning, they didn't even answer to us. I mean, we were no one. And for the third year, yes, they granted us a meeting. They gave us a meeting. So we had this appointment, and at the end of the appointment, they said, okay, those are the possible dates. Which one do you want? Okay. We didn't think we would have a real date.
It was going to go that fast.
Yeah. And so, okay, we said, now that we have this incredible venue, we have to be even bigger than the largest positive conference in the world. What can inspire us? And so we went back to the past, and we said, okay, we are at a turning point in our economy, in our world. Maybe like 150 years ago, when the world was facing the industrial revolution. Mm-hmm. And to show, to inspire the people about this revolution, and to accelerate this revolution, we invented 150 years ago the world Expo, the world exhibitions. And one was in Paris, in Grand Palais, and the Grand Palais was built for this. And we said, well, going back to this place, we can go back to this inspirational period, and let's create the World Expo of Innovations for the Planet. So that was the big dream I saw of this year. And actually, it was a bit crazy to talk about the event with such big words, but it gave us so much motivation.
I love that every year you found something big and inspiring that all of you could buy into. Because often when we think of visions, it doesn't really shift, or we don't review them. It's this big thing that's out there, but each year to have a vision for the event that year that you could all just be, that will pull you forward almost. Like, it's like we're so excited about that, and you're so excited to be a part of the vision. But this idea of refreshing the vision each year, for the event. Like I was like wondering, how the heck do these people just keep coming up with all these ideas every year? Like each year I walk in and I was like, this is not the same as last year. Something but bigger this year. This isn't the same as, how are they keeping this going? Because here's the other thing, ladies. Year one, Rose rocks up and and we get through, it was 2 days in year one. And at the end, she's walking around with a baby. And I was like, wait a minute, he wasn't even a toddler then, was he?
Yeah, he was, 1 year old.
So you were doing all of this whilst being mom?
Actually, I did all of this because I became a mom.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, it all started with him. He was the starting point of everything. It was because I wasn't an entrepreneur before that, but during my maternity leave, we had a fantastic experience with my husband, and and I think it was the beginning of everything. Wow. So yeah, I like to say he's my first change maker.
Oh, do you know what? I love that, because often I think everything, you've got two sides to it, right? You can see it as a challenge, or you can see it as an invitation and an opportunity. And I love that your son is your inspiration and actually the starting point, like the first change maker. That's it. We're shifting the whole world. By the time he gets to 18, he won't know what we knew. He'll be like, what was this pollution thing? What do you mean people walked around with, whatever it was, like polluting the world? What do you mean you weren't using reusable bottles? I love that that's been your inspiration up until now. Love it, love it, love it, love it. What got you into climate change and positive impact? Was it just always something you were quite passionate about?
So I wouldn't say that, like doing things that have a purpose has always been part of me. But climate change, ecology, being eco-friendly and so on wasn't so much important. I mean, it was a journey for me. But it became so much important when I got the baby, and then like it all makes sense if you live differently, if you take care of the planet, if you take care of others. It makes so much more sense to live that way. So then I changed myself over the last 3 years. Many things changed in my life, but I would say that what was really important to me was to do a job that had a purpose, that was meaningful. And so that's why at the beginning, when I finished my studies, I went in the health industry. I worked in marketing because I loved marketing, but not marketing for random things. I wanted to do it for healthcare, and so then it wasn't enough, and then we had this whole idea, and it really made it had a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense to me.
And having something purposeful for you, where you think, I remember when I started my very, very, very first job, and I'm not going to name the company because it's a bit mean. Really brilliant multinational company, does a lot of great stuff. But I just could not buy into the idea that everybody needed their products. I just couldn't, because in my mind, it's not that it wasn't useful and it wasn't that they were doing great things. I just kept thinking there are bigger things to worry about than this. Yes. And they are I have nothing against the organization. Brilliant company doing amazing things. And the heart of the founder is doing incredible things all the time, right? Just that particular part of the business I was working in, I was like, I can't get behind this.
Yes.
like I just don't have that level of passion for this. And that's not to say it's not important. It's just not something, I can't put those glasses on and genuinely think that this is the best use of my time, energy, and the biggest impact that I can have. So I love that you found something that you're doing where every day, it's like, this is the best impact that I know I can have in the world. So with your experience, darling, and having been on a journey, even in terms of not starting from a place necessarily where it would have been obvious that, of course, Rose is going to do an event on positive impact, ecology, and the environment, like, of course, but not starting from that place and growing into it and your journey. What is it that you think makes a woman powerful? Do you think there's something in particular when you see a woman and you think, oh, that's a really powerful woman? Do you think there's a specific trait that she has or a way that she is?
Well, for me, I think so. I was a bit I was not at ease with some stereotypes or images of the powerful woman that is like a warrior, like a I don't know, like the superwoman. I wasn't at ease with that. But when I see women who are powerful and who really inspire me, what I recognize is more like their authenticity. And the fact that it comes from the heart, and then everything follows the charisma and the energy and many things.
So it's somebody who almost, that in that authentic place where they're not pretending to be somebody they're not. They kind of own who they are, and you can feel it. It's like you just get that nice warm fuzzy feeling when you're around them. It's like,
it's true. It makes sense, and I just want to follow that. And for me, that's the real power. So
I love that you say that, because I think sometimes we can be searching for this big momentous thing. Right? It's kind of like, it's got to look powerful, and but this thing here isn't powerful, but it's got to look a certain way. So just for you to say, for you, it's that natural authenticity.
When you feel that this person is herself, and she's at the right place. And actually I had this image with you, Lovelda, when I saw you at Change Now the first year. It made so much sense to see you on stage. You're at your place. You're doing it with it's brilliant. And that is the kind of thing I want to see when I see women.
Oh, love it. So ladies, if you're forcing yourself to do something that doesn't feel like you, stop it. I think
don't try to be a powerful woman like a powerful man, or don't try to be an image. Don't try to build an image, but just be yourself, and this is the biggest power you can have.
I used to say to people, look, I'm going to do, there's one job I know I can win at. Like, there's one role I know I can always win at life. Nobody can be a better me than me. Like, it's just not possible.
Exactly.
Like, it's just not possible. So as soon as I try and be somebody else, why am I putting myself in a losing game? I am never going to be a better them than them. So if I can be the best me, right? I'm just hashtag winning. It's like the easiest phrase to win.
Really. And actually, when I was working in a multinational, big companies and so on, you are evaluated, and like in class, and people try to identify where are your weaknesses, how can you work on your weaknesses. But no, that's not that's not the way you're going to be brilliant. The way for you to be brilliant is to concentrate on your strength, on who you are, what makes you special, and then you can do incredible things. And I think that's also the way we built our startup. We tried each one. So my 3 partners, but also the other co-workers we have, is okay, where are you brilliant? And we will focus on that.
Focus on what you're good at. That's where your brilliance is.
Yes.
That's where your brilliance is. Then weaknesses. I used to say, like, why are you working so hard on your weaknesses? They're only ever going to get to mediocre.
Exactly.
What is the point?
Exactly. Whereas you have some people who are brilliant in your weaknesses. So let's
them do it.
Exactly.
Like, you're fighting a battle in which you will be mediocre at best if it's not a natural talent. I'm like, when you think of it that way, stop it. Just stop it.
Yes.
Rose, let's get into the meat and juicy bones of this, right? So if you were to take your whole life, mean question coming, and boil down like your life success and your business success to just 3 things. Un, deux, trois. I think I said that right. Just 3 things. And say that contributed the most to your success. What would they be? Like your personal power tools where you're like, these things fundamentally are the things that contribute to my success. What would be the first one?
Okay, well, I would say that, so for me, the first one, it resonates with what we said before, is like to be yourself, to be authentic, just to be at your place. And it's not even, it doesn't have to be a big place at the beginning, but if it is your place, you will shine at this place. So that's the first power secret. Second, I would say to dare to be yourself, but also to dare to think and act differently. And the third one for me, which was super important, especially because the last 3 years have been so incredibly interesting and fascinating, but also incredibly difficult. So for me, the third secret was also to trust life, to have this faith that you never know if one thing is good or is for a good sake or bad sake. So just trust and go on. And
that is goose pimples. Okay, we're gonna have to deconstruct these a little bit. Oh, goose pimples all up and down me. Okay, so trust.
Yes.
This is a big one for me too. Right? It's been a journey in trusting. So what do you mean trust when something goes wrong?
Well, there are always things that happen that were not planned, that were not the way you wanted things to happen. But just accept them and have faith that you can make it an opportunity. Just to give you an example for Regan, our project, the first year, so we had this contract with Station F. So we were it was amazing for us to have such a place to be, and we were the first event that was to take place.
Really?
Yes, at Station F. So it was almost for the opening of the place. And then there were some problem with the construction, and they had to postpone the opening about 5 months, something like that. Oh
wow! Okay.
So it changed everything for us. So we had to say, okay. Well, we thought, okay, do we have to go for another place? Well, that's hard when you have a project, when you have a schedule and so on. But we said, okay, maybe it's for a good reason. Maybe it's going to be even better like that. And actually, I think it gave us more time to prepare everything. And also it during the summer. So normally the summit was supposed to happen in April. And
it was in September.
It was in September. Yeah. But in April, we would have never been ready, I think, for the event.
You were like, you guys are so ambitious. You were like, no chance it was going to happen in April.
I think we needed a bit more time. And actually, it was really hard to find money for the event, because when an event doesn't exist, even when it exists, it's super hard to find money.
Yeah, and when it doesn't exist, you have no...
It doesn't even exist when you have no background in the event industry. I mean, why would people trust you and give you money? And actually, something happened. So there was the election of Donald Trump in the US and in France. Emmanuel Macron, our president, launched a campaign. So it was not let's make America first again, but great again, but it was let's make our planet great again.
Oh, wow.
And
Perfect.
yeah, and it's really, I mean, there was people talked a lot about it, and this was in June, and in June actually we had no cash, nothing. We hadn't raised anything, so we were even thinking, okay, maybe we have this fantastic program, we have fantastic speakers, we have this amazing venue, but just we have no cash,
no money.
no money. I just put all my economies in the first payment, and that was it. And so in June we had this mediatic campaign about to make our planet great again, and big companies started to say, okay, we have to invest in the planet. And we said, yes, well, we have this event, it's all ready. If you want to invest in something, it's here. And actually, in a couple of days, like within 2 weeks, we had our main sponsors who confirmed their participation. We had also subsidized from the government, and it was all possible. And if it were in April,
it would not have worked.
Yes, yeah,
and it would have been a very different event.
Yeah,
if you were able to pull it off at all.
Yes, exactly. And actually, for the past 3 years, we had plenty of stories like that. Plenty of stories where we thought, okay, well, that's a very bad news, but actually, no, it can become an opportunity. So trust what's happening.
I love it. I had a mentor of mine. I don't know if I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I have a mentor of mine who used to say, always look for the gift, even in the things that aren't going well. And so there's always those sorts of opportunities. And I like to say, look, when you're really in trust, you know that the universe, or whomever you want to call it, a higher power or whomever, I don't mind what title you give it, God, Allah, I don't mind. You trust that the universe has got the best intentions for you. Like, it's only there. It's like conspiring for your success. When you get in the way and think you can do the job better, it's normally when you get yourself in problems. Like, it has access to infinite, like, everything. So, like, the universe was just conspiring for your success. It looked and it went, yes. This is really needed. No chance that's going to happen there. We'll delay this construction so you'll have more time.
Yeah.
And one view of looking at it based on your limited perspective from where you are at the time, which is we have all of these things lined up and now we have no venue, is to look at it like a problem rather than to say, what's the gift and the opportunity this gives us? It gives us more time. We didn't have the funding anyway. like now we've got to get out to go back to people and explain why the date's been delayed. The venue's not ready. We're not moving it. So we're going to have to push it back a bit. It's just one of many reasons. But it's not until afterwards when you look back, when you're able to trust and accept, that you can see it was absolutely divinely perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
Love it. So needed to deconstruct that because that is big. I was like, we cannot skim past trust like that. Like, that's what it is. Like, I just learned to trust. I'm like, learn to trust how, boo? Like, give me some information in terms of what that means. So can you repeat those for me again? So trust in life.
Yeah. Being authentic.
We've spoken about that up front, like what that means.
Exactly. Being looking for your place and daring to think and act differently.
That's the one. Think and act differently. Okay, so normally when people talk about daring, they mean like daring to think bigger. But you say daring to think and act differently. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's like don't try to think like another person or to be or to do something because another person would do it that way. Do it your way and dare to do it your way. And sometimes for other people, it would sound crazy. But if this comes from within yourself, it's true. but just dare to listen to this little voice you have inside yourself.
That's a form of trust as well, right? It's like daring to trust that you've got it.
Yeah, that's a kind of trust. Yeah, trust in yourself. Trust
that
in
the idea is like, you know, to just do it differently, think differently, and be okay with everybody else in the market sells in this way. Everybody else in the market. But, you know, if everybody was doing that all the time, there'd be no innovation.
Exactly. Yeah. But daring is a step forward. I mean, you can trust yourself, but just, I don't do it. I'll do it next year.
Yeah. So it's a step beyond the trust. So it's actually daring to go there, kind of like playing chicken with yourself. Well, I wonder what would happen. I'll tell you what my dare was. My dare, just to sort of bring this to life a bit, my dare was selling things without sales pages. Because in this industry, everybody has a sales page for everything. So people just keep wanting to know where your page is. And for me, that creating sales pages is stressful. I'm not going to lie. And daring to sell like a high-end program with no sales page, people don't do that. Like, you want to take money from people, you need to demonstrate that, and, you know, pen and paper, something tangible. But for me, I'm actually more effective when I don't have them. I am, and I'll send all of this stuff afterwards, and eventually a page gets built. But anytime I innovate something new, like there's a brand new program hot off the press, there's normally no page when I first start selling it. Yep, peeps.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. Lovelda sells without sales pages. Better believe it. I build them later. Like once I've done it, I like it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Then I take what I did and I document it. It's like doing a process afterwards. I write it down afterwards so it's ready next time. But the first time, I don't anymore. I stopped. It was getting in the way of my sales groove.
Well, actually, that's a very good example. Do it. You do it your way, and if you do it another way, it would not work.
And I love this idea of daring to do it differently, even if mentors, even if other people in the industry aren't doing it. Just test it. Test it. If it feels like nice to you, if it feels good to you, just test it. So worst that'll happen, it will be as bad as it was before.
and actually, it is so motivating to do things. Well, for me, I think it's really motivating to do things differently, like not to be the to be the first one to do it this way. Not to be a copy or to do a copy of someone else. We said previously that it's really motivating to have big ambitions, but also like to invent, to create is also a big source of motivation.
And we're supposed to be creative beings.
We are.
Take that idea exactly the way you want to do it and put it out there into the world. Rose, there's going to be people listening who are just like wholeheartedly inspired by you as much as I am. And they'll be thinking, how do I contact her? Where is this summit? I need to know more. I put everything in the show notes, ladies. But for those of you who can't wait, Rose, where do people go to connect with you?
Okay, so to connect with the summit, for us to have more information about what we're doing, it's www.changenow, altogether, summit.com.
Change-summit.com.
And there you'll find information about the summit, but also you'll find like 3 years of talks with Lovelda and talks with the speakers. Like we have more than 300 very inspiring change makers and speakers who share their solutions for the planet. So
you don't have to wait for the next conference. You can go watch.
There is already a lot of content to watch. And I think, especially right now, when we have time for those who are at home, I think that's really inspiring to see those speakers. And if you want to contact me, I think the best way is on LinkedIn. Rose Lucotte, and you'll find me on LinkedIn.
All in the show notes. So Rose, I'm going to do what I do with all of my guests, because you share such inspiration. I'm going to invite you to help me wrap up today's show. So what is the one thing you would really love to leave our guests with today?
Sorry, Lovelda.
What is the one thing you'd like to leave our guests with? If they take just one thing from this conversation, what would you like that to be?
Well, it's I don't want to repeat again and again, but really it's be yourself, find your own way, and then you will see the magic of life.
Be yourself, find your own way, so then you can really see and fully experience the magic of life. You've been listening to the Lovelda Show Women of Power podcast with my guest, Rose. Until next episode, firstly, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Do it, because there's more where this came from. You can also jump across and check us out on YouTube, in which case you can not just listen to, but observe the conversation in which we're having. Leave us a 5-star review. Do not forget to do that. Until next time, ciao, ladies.